What's going on, guys? So today, just want to have kind of a short conversation. This is something that I talked about with someone on Instagram recently, a couple days back, and I thought, hey, this is great for a video. So I have a couple knives here, two Microtechs with the ram lock, and one Benchmade with the axis lock, just representing axis locks. And these, I just happen to have both of these. This is the MSI, which I actually got first before the stitch. And this is my first experience with the ram lock. I thought it was super cool. I actually liked it so much, that's why I agreed to a trade for the stitch. But yeah, so the ram locks. First, let's talk about the axis lock, right? I think a lot of people are very, very familiar at this point with an axis lock. And the axis lock, I guess, is considered a crossbar lock. Now, crossbar lock, I think, is just a generic term. Axis is a specific, like, brand, let's say. Benchmade named that the axis lock. But the idea is a crossbar lock is a lock that goes across the knife, right? In this case, this is running on two springs. We know these are Omega springs. And so between the shape of the base of our blade and where the actual bar is, they come in contact in such a way where it keeps it shut, right? So you don't have to have a D10 or anything. And then when it's open, it locks. They're very strong inherently, all these type of crossbar locks. What's really cool is that they're ambidextrous most, if not all the time. So you can pull down with, one side. You can pull down with just the other side. You can pull both down if you wanted to. It makes it fidget friendly as well, so your hand's out of the way. So when you disengage the lock, you can let the blade swing shut. It's just super cool, right? Now, sometimes the Omega springs break when you're pulling on one side, all right? It's not like it's common enough where people know it. It's a little bit of an issue, I guess, with Benchmades overall. But it's not like it's happening every knife or whatever. It's not that common if you look at how many knives are made and how many people have problems with it. But I can tell you, I've had Omega springs break, right? Benchmade will send you some new Omega springs, but it's kind of a pain to put them in if you haven't done that before. Not the end of the world, but definitely a slight weakness. The ram locks don't have that issue because they're not running on those springs. This has a plunger, all right? So the spring inside is on a little post. You can see that. So there's a metal piece that goes up inside of this lock, and it's one coil spring. So it's a better design in that you're less likely to break that spring. I haven't heard of one actually breaking. But it works the same way in that you can push, one side, you can push the other side, you can push both sides, right? It's a really cool thing. This is actually it's one solid piece of metal. You would assume that, but in case you didn't know, if you ever take these apart, you'll see it's one solid piece of metal here. What's interesting in comparison is it just gives you a lot to grab too. All right, you can see how much it sticks out compared to the axis lock. I have no problem with the axis lock, but if you're someone who frequently wears gloves, or if you're using your knives outdoor, especially now it's the winter time, for at least me here in the northeastern Pennsylvania. So if you do have gloved hands, it just gives you way more to grab onto. You know what I'm saying? Also, you can see the traditional kind of circular design. It works fine. You get plenty of grip, but not as much as the very detailed, cut, machined ram lock on both sides. It's just cool. It works. It's like it takes everything you love about the axis lock and it makes it a little bit stronger, a little bit easier, and what's not to like about that, right? So yeah, just wanted to talk about that a little bit. It's super cool. I dig it. I'm totally sold. I love Microtechs, by the way. Across the board, I like Microtechs, but I particularly like Microtech folders, just because all their OTFs get all the attention all the time. When I first got into knives, Microtech OTFs, that was like the holy grail, by the way. And in my day, it was like the Halo, which now would cost you a heck of a lot of money, at least some of the original ones. The Greg Lightfoot LLC, that was one of the coolest Microtech autos at the time. The Ultratechs, there was a bunch that were popular. The Amphibian, trying to think of some of the other ones. The Kestrel. The Kestrel one I had personally, that was one of the first side opening Microtechs I've had. And I actually went to a gun show, a gun/knife show, and I traded my Microtech Kestrel, which that had a hawkbill blade on it. I traded that for like 15 Kershaws, and CRKTs. the guy was so into it, and he gave me more value than the trade was worth. And he told me straight out, he's like, I just really want this knife. It's awesome. It's great quality. You don't see these very often, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. And I just went for variety over quality. But I was very happy at the time, and I have no regrets. But the point really is that Microtech makes fantastic manual knives, right? The LUDT, fantastic knife, right? Just classic. The SOCOM, the manual SOCOM is a fantastic knife. Now, a lot of you guys, especially if you're new to the knife scene, Microtech is automatic knives. They make automatic knives. It's great, right? You just don't see as much or hear as much about their manual stuff. Maybe in recent years, because of these models, you see it more. But at least 10 years ago or so, like, no one was talking about the manuals. It was all about the autos. And these are just fantastic. They're built very, very well. But the lock is super strong. The ram lock is just fantastic. So just wanted to show that a little bit. Nothing wrong with the axis lock. Definitely not hating on it. But I think this is an improvement overall to a very similar design. So I'll say that. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let me know down in the comment section, what is your favorite knife lock? I know you're going to ask me. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have a favorite. I just can't choose. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with the liner lock. There's nothing wrong with the lock back. You know, I love the axis lock. I'm now digging the ram lock, right? You name it. The frame lock, obviously, probably one of the more common ones is the frame lock and the liner lock. Lockbacks are fine too. You know what I mean? Like, I dig it all. It's very situational. Very, very situational. But anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take it easy.